Welcome to the call. This is Liz Butler. I'm with Friends of the Earth. We're super excited that you're joining us to talk about what we can collectively do in March to stop the recent attacks Trump and his administration have proposed to environmental protections that are coming out in his budget. We're going to start off the call by talking about what the proposed gutting of the Environmental Protection Agency means and how we can stop it. After that, our organizers will walk you through the nuts and bolts of planning a visibility day to create local pressure on senators to stand up to Trump's just devastating budget attacks. And then we'll spend some time in groups talking about localizing pressure to different senators. At the end, we will take questions. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Michelle, who will kind of walk you through what does this mean, these attacks. Michelle?
Hi, thanks so much for joining everyone. So last week, as you probably all heard, Trump released details of his budget plan, which includes stripping the EPA of 31% of its funding. Now this is our worst fear come true. First, Trump put Exxon and Big Coal in charge of our country, and now this budget proposal largely gives the fossil fuel industry just what they want, which is minimal regulation and free rein to profit off of their pollution. So Trump's proposal would cut the EPA's budget by $2.6 billion from its current level of $8.2 billion. And that brings the EPA's budget to the lowest levels that we've seen in 40 years. So make no mistake, this is a full frontal attack on protecting our environment and safeguarding communities. And it would have monumental ramifications on both the national and the local level. So let me just say a word about the local impacts of these cuts. Now, nearly half of the EPA's current funding actually is passed directly to states. And in some states, such as Pennsylvania, this federal money actually makes up more than half of the budget for the state EPA. So these cuts could hugely undermine local enforcement of our environmental laws, and that includes programs to monitor and clean up contamination that threaten our water and our land. It would gut state research programs, which are key to monitoring climate change and other environmental problems. It would cut emergency response funding that states rely on to respond to environmental disasters. And it could also cut states' funding for programs such as renewable energy development and programs to preserve protected areas like Lake Erie. Now, that being said, we have the power to stop this from happening. Thanks to our government system of checks and balances, Trump's plan will only become a reality if Congress gives its stamp of approval. And members of Congress on both sides of the aisle are already speaking out against his budget. Now, last month, Friends of the Earth members like you visited your members of Congress when they were home in their districts, and you demanded that they stand up to Trump, and what you did was inspiring. We are already seeing signs that your efforts are paying off. So for example, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina has been listening to people like you, and last week he spoke out against a massive giveaway to big oil. But now that Congress is back in Washington, we need your help to keep up the pressure. We need your help to put a stop to Trump's reckless agenda. And so this month, we're holding a Stand Up for the EPA Week of Action to push members of Congress to block this attack on the environment. We're asking you to host a visibility day sometime between March 21st and March 31st in your community to turn up the heat at home. And whether your senator is Democrat or Republican, they need to feel pressure from their constituents to stand up to Trump and protect the EPA from these devastating budget cuts. And participating in this week of action is simple, and you can get involved by hosting one or more event in your community. And we'll go through each type of event you can host in just a moment. Liz?
Thank you, Michelle. That's really helpful. As everyone can tell, this is just a critical moment when it comes to how do we protect key environmental protections, and how do we make sure that this isn't a backdoor attempt to just gut our environmental laws through Trump and his administration's proposed budget. So we really need Congress to stand up to Trump's harmful agenda, especially when it comes down to putting his budget into reality. And we're really looking for people who are ready to get the tools and to take action to put pressure specifically on their local members of Congress and their senators to actually do the right thing and stand up to Trump's harmful budget guts. Now, I want you to take a second, and I want you to press 1 on your phone if you're ready to take action and help us stand up to Trump in this moment. So press 1 on your phone if you're ready to get engaged and fight back in this terrible gutting, this attack on the EPA. We know that for most faux members, it's been a very concerning thing, this full frontal attack on the EPA. The level of cuts are unprecedented, and we all get what it's going to do on the ground and in communities around the country. So press 1 if you're ready to take action. I'm going to give folks a second to vote in the poll. And then after the poll, we're really going to walk you through exactly how is it that we'll be able to take these actions. Great. All right, so now I'm going to turn it over to Gail, who's going to walk you through the events that you can hold. And just so you know, almost everybody on the phone pressed 1, letting us know that they're ready to take action.
All right, so, yep, can you hear me? Okay. So while our elected officials are away, it's important that they feel the pressure and eyes of their constituents all the way from D.C. With the April recess coming up in just 3 weeks, they're looking to the district to see what kind of reception they will receive at home. And we want to make sure that the officials not only know that we want to protect the EPA and save its funding, but our neighbors and friends do as well. And that's why we holding some event in your community to get the word out is so critical during these next 10 days. And there are 3 different types of events that you can hold. The first is a visibility day. So a visibility day is exactly what it sounds like. It's about grabbing as many people's attention as possible. And this is about putting public pressure on your member of Congress and making sure they feel the heat from their constituents. For this event, you'll need 4 or more people to come with you to a busy area like a farmer's market or a busy street corner and hold signs with a campaign message on it. You can ask folks to honk and support or even take pictures with you as they walk by. And you get bonus points if you can pass out flyers to passersby with more information. If you've ever driven past a high school fundraiser like a car wash, then you know what this should look like. Homemade signs with slogans, big writing so people can read them from far away, and a group of people standing together so it looks fun and welcoming. An example of a poster could be a handwritten in marker 2-foot by 3-foot poster that says, Senator Schumer, defend the EPA, call his office now. So this is the first type of event that you could host in your community. The second type is a letter writing party. We all know someone who wants to get more involved, but just needs an environment that is a little more laid back and less about interacting with other people. Maybe that's you. Letter writing parties can be a great way to gather folks who are interested in the campaign and need an easy way to get involved. They can also be a springboard for making connections with people in your area and planning future events. So we are asking folks to couple their letter writing party with an online action and take pictures and post them to social media. And we'll cover just how to do that a little bit later. So the second type of event you can hold is a letter writing party. And then the third is putting up posters and flyers in your community. Getting the word out can be as simple as doing this in your town, and it's an effective way to reach a large number of people. If you've ever been in a store that has a community board, this is the same thing. Only this time, the person that's lost is the member of Congress that needs to take a stand and defend the EPA. Your flyer could look similar to an apartment listing flyer and have the same message used for doing a visibility event. And it could say, for example, Senator Schumer, defend the EPA, call his office now. And for this event, folks will just need a list of popular locations in your towns to put up posters. You can invite a friend to come along and make it even more fun. And of course, take photos while you're postering and post them to social media as well. So I'm going to pass it back over to Liz.
All right, so now you heard Gail walking you through the 4 types of events. We want to get a really quick snapshot of kind of hearing those different types of events, as to which one you think that you can do in your local community. We're going to go more in depth in the how-to, and then we're going to spend some time later in breakout kind of really talking about the unique situation that your senators are in particular states. But I first want to get, based on the information that Gail just gave you, just a quick snapshot as to which of the events you think you can do in your local town. So I'm going to have you press on your keypad. Press 1 if you think you're going to be able to hold a visibility day. That's really going down in the busiest part of town and raising the visibility of the issue and getting attention from the local community. Press 2 if you're going to host a letter writing party. Press 3 if you think that you can plan to put posters up and flyer around your town. And press 4 if you're still figuring it out. So again, press 1 if you think it sounds like you'll be able to hold a visibility a day, get some attention in the busiest part of town. Press 2 if you're going to host a letter writing party. Press 3 if you're going to put up posters and flyers around town. And press 4 if you're still figuring it out. I'm going to turn it over to Liz Kay, who's also part of our organizing team. But keep voting again. Press 1 if you're ready to do a visibility day. Press 2 if you think that you can host a letter writing party. Press 3 if you plan to put up posters and flyers. And press 4 if you're still figuring it out. Liz?
Great. Thanks so much. So my name's Liz Kazel. I'm an organizer based in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm going to walk you through the steps of hosting your event, regardless of which event you decide to host. At least for me, it can seem overwhelming or daunting to plan an event, but it really just comes down to 4 basic steps. And like I said, what's great about each of these steps is that they're the same for each type of event that we went over. And then just a note that we're actually also going to send out a guide after this call tomorrow with more information from this section and the previous one. So for each type of event that you could host in your community, the first step is picking a time, date, and location. So for a visibility event, you'll want to remember to pick somewhere busy and visible so that people will see you. For a letter writing party, you may choose to host your event at home, a coffee shop, or someplace near your work. And for postering, you're going to want to pick a time and date to go out and put up the posters and make a list of all the locations that you want to go and put one up. Make sure that your date falls between March 21st and 31st as part of our week of action to stand up for the EPA. And then there are even more examples of each types of location in the guide that we'll send out. The next step is to recruit people to the event. So if you're holding a visibility day or letter writing party, really the sky's the limit as to the number of people that you can recruit to come. If you've decided to put up posters and flyers around town, you can certainly do this alone, but it may be more fun and effective to have 1 or 2 other people with you. So recruitment is simple. It all comes down to basically asking people to come with you. Think through who are in your networks and ask them to come personally, either with an email or a text message. You'll want to put the word out on listservs and through social media. And the most important thing is just to ask. For example, I know we have some folks on from St. Louis, and they're hosting an event, a letter writing party at a local TGI Fridays, and have created a Facebook event to help invite people to come. Things like that are a great way to help recruit people. So you'll want to ask your friends, family, and members of a local group you may be a part of. Like I said, create an event on Facebook and promote it on social media. Make sure to use the hashtag #StandUpToTrump. And we'll go over social media a little bit in just a moment. And you can even send an email to a neighborhood listserv or any other listservs that you're a part of where appropriate. The next step is to prepare your materials for your event. So this will vary pretty widely by the different types of events that you may hold. So for a visibility day out in the community, you're going to want to, have some big handwritten signs, with a visible message that people can see from far away, and maybe even flyers to pass out. when writing letters, you're going to need your congressperson's address, some sample talking points for people to use, letters and stamps. And if you're putting up posters around town, you'll need posters to put up. And if you're going to leave flyers, you'll need flyers to leave at counters. We have a full list of sample materials that you may need in the guide that we'll send to you after the call. The last step is to hold your event and to take photos. As people come in, you can have them sign in on a sign-up sheet so that you can follow up with them afterward. Take photos of people holding signs at your visibility day, writing letters at your house party, or even, snap a selfie while you're putting up posters around town. Action shots are really great as well. Make sure to get a group photo of people before they head out and post it to Facebook and Twitter if you have them. Use the hashtag #StandUp2Trump. That's stand up to Trump, and tag your member of Congress so that your photos are connected to other actions and so that your members know that you are doing this work in their district. And really, those are the basic 4 steps. Pick a time, location, and date, recruit people to come, prep your materials, and then hold the event. So next, we are going to talk about how to connect your event with other folks and what to do when you're done. So I'll pass it over to Jenny to talk about that.
Hey, thanks, Liz. So hey, everyone. My name is Jenny. I'm an organizer based in our DC office, and I'm going to talk to you about what to do after this call and what follow-up you need to do after your event to make sure everyone knows about it, and continue to increase the visibility and pressure on your senator or member of Congress. So holding one event in a community is effective, but being connected to dozens of events around the country is powerful. That's why we really want everyone who's hosting an event, big or small, to register it with us at Friends of the Earth so that we have a snapshot of how many events are being held around the country. So it's really important to register your event. We're going to send out the link to a Google form that after this call, along with our guide, and you're going to enter your event information in the Google form, and that's your way of registering the event with us. So make sure, please fill out the Google form as soon as you know that you're holding an event. We also want to collect all the great photos from around the country that are going to come out of these events. We've done similar things with, like this before, and it's really inspiring and powerful to see all the photos that come out, because that's how you see. If you guys can't see each other on this call right now, but seeing each other on social media is a way that you all know you're in this together. And the resistance movement is powerful and plentiful. So as we mentioned before, you can use the hashtag #StandUp2Trump, and use that on Twitter to connect with other events. And at the conclusion of your event, please also make sure to send any photos that you have to us through email, so we just have a good record of everything. And the email to send the photos to is, and you're going to send them to Liz Kazel, one of our organizers who just spoke, and you'll send it to her email at lkazel, Kazal, @foe.org. Again, that's lkazel, Kazal, @foe.org.
Great. Well, that I hope that was really helpful. I got to listen to some of the slogans that people were talking about, and they were super exciting. I am now going to turn it over to Jenny, who's going to talk a little bit about what to expect from FOE.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, people had good slogans. This is exciting. So yeah, now that we've given you a lot of information, I want to let you know what you can expect from us at Friends of Earth over the next couple of days. So tomorrow, everyone will receive a link to download our event guide. In this guide, it goes through each type of event you can host in detail, just in case you missed anything tonight. It also includes links to download sample signs, posters, flyers, and talking points that you can use for your event. In that email, you're also going to get a link to register for your event using the Google form that I mentioned earlier. And if you already know what type of event you want to host, go ahead and register right away. And Friends of Earth organizer, one of us that you heard from tonight, will reach out to make sure that you have everything all set and ready to go. So, and then everyone else will get a phone call over the next couple of days. You know, we'll try to make sure to call as many people as possible that attended this training, following up, just to see if you have any questions to talk through over the phone. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing all these different kinds of events. And yeah, I'll hand it back over to Liz Butler now for questions.
Great. So we're going to take not a ton of time for questions, but a little bit of time for questions. So if you have something urgently that you wanted to ask us, that you don't think you'll be getting the answer to in the email that we'll send to you tomorrow, press 1 on your keypad and we can take a couple of them. Okay, I'm going to grab a couple, and the poster chants are getting even better on the chat board. I'm going to take Nancy. Nancy?
Yes. Hi. Yeah, my question is, what I want to do is a letter writing event, and shall I assume that what we're going to be doing is traditional letters, where we actually print them out and send them by email, regular mail, or will they be written to the website of the senators online?
We're going to send you those instructions. In my experience, handwritten letters that you actually send in, or even better, drive by their office and drop off, have a much bigger impact than typed ones, because with members of Congress, it's often about showing that it's real constituents in their district. And there's something about electronic that it's easier for them to kind of like not absorb that these are their community members. But that'll all be in the next step.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to take Kimberly. Kimberly.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had any information on carbon taxing, carbon offset policies. Kind of a little side question.
Well, be more specific. Like, what information
well,
are you looking for?
I know there was a Republican proposal for carbon taxing, and I know there's another. Yeah.
The legislation about the carbon tax. I don't have super detailed information in front of me at the moment, but we can get you some tomorrow. I mean, I know the general concept is basically putting a tax on carbon as a tool to actually decrease the amount of carbon that's displayed. It's also about then taking money from the polluting industries to use it in environmental protection and the cleanup and fighting climate change. But we'll get you specific information about the bill, Kimberly, and have somebody send it to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other last-minute questions? Press 1. If not, we're going to do a little thing that we've done before, which is we're going to take everyone off of mute in just a second, and on the count of 3, we're going to have everyone just scream resist. It's very cathartic, really helps us in this moment. So I'm going to count to 3, and I'm going to put everyone on the open mic. So 1, 2, 3. Scream resist. Resist! Resist! Resist!
Resist!
All right. And on that note, we look forward to seeing you out in the streets, and we will talk to you soon. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resist. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.